Today I want to talk about the new get-rich-quick scheme in real estate investing, and that's wholesaling. That doesn't mean all wholesalers are bad and that wholesaling in general is bad. They actually provide a important value in real estate investing and for sellers and buyers. First, let me talk about what wholesaling is, and then I'm going to get into what my problems are with wholesaling in general. Wholesaling is a real estate investment term, and basically what it is a middleman who is putting a house under contract below market value and flipping that contract normally to a buyer who's going to actually fix up the house. And of course, he makes money by selling the contract to that buyer for more money. For example, a wholesaler will meet a seller and the seller says they really need to get rid of the house as soon as possible for whatever reason. Normally it's a distressed situation and they say, well, I'll buy your house for $50,000. They write up a contract, but the contract's assignable. So that allows them to change their name in the contract and have someone else actually step in for them to buy the property. So what they do is they find a buyer who's an actual real estate investor who will actually close on the property and fix it up or rent it out or do whatever. But they will sell that contract for a fee. So if the purchase price was $50,000, they're going to sell it to the other investor for $60,000 and they're going to make $10,000 in the middle. In a perfect world where everything is done ethically, this is a valuable service because the wholesaler is connecting a buyer and a seller, and both are getting what they wanted out of the deal. Now, my problem with this is that it is done very unethically in a bunch of different ways. Number one, they're not disclosing what they're actually doing. A lot of times the wholesaler, you've probably seen the signs, it says, we buy houses, or I'll buy your house, any condition, blah, blah, blah. And they will put your house under contract. So you meet with them and they say, okay, your house is worth XYZ and we're willing to buy it for this. The problem is they're basically trying to get your house under market value. Now, there might be a couple of reasons why you would underprice your house, and that would be ethical. But if they're just doing it because you don't know any better, I kind of have a problem with that. Secondly, they're saying they're going to buy your house, and most of these wholesalers don't have the funds to actually buy your house. They're just hoping they can find someone that will actually step in and buy the house for them. And if they're not able to do that, now this person selling the house thought that you were going to buy the house, and then you end up not closing, and they could get really screwed over. My big issue is the disclosure. If the wholesaler approaches the seller and says, look, I'm not actually buying your house, but I will put it under contract and I can find a buyer and I'm going to flip the contract to them, that's great, because now the seller understands what's going on, and I think that's ethical and that's great. The other issue is I think they need to disclose that they're basically getting the house under market value, because if they listed it on an open market, they probably get more money. I think that as long as the seller is aware of that, everything's cool. A lot of times the pitch from the wholesaler is that they're actually buying your house and they're going to close in 14 days and all this great stuff, and then they're not actually able to execute on that, and that's a real big problem. A lot of these sellers are already in distressed situations, and that's what's attracting them to the wholesaler. And so it gets even more skeevy to me because, I mean, it could be a senior citizen who's not able to maintain their house and they're on a fixed income and they have to get the house sold. And these guys are coming in and they're saying they're going to buy their house and all this stuff and take advantage that they don't know how much their house is worth. I think that's really messed up. Now, if they do need to sell their house in 14 days, it is a good value. But again, a lot of times that's not happening. My other issue with wholesaling blowing up like it is that this get-rich-quick scheme feeling is going around. So there's a lot of people who are going to these classes and learning about wholesaling, and they're like, hey, I'm going to be a wholesaler. I'm just going to go do it. And it's a lot harder than it seems. You got to find people in a very, very small minority of situations who want to sell their house for less money than it's worth as soon as possible. That is a tough person to find, and really most successful wholesalers are spending a lot of money on flyers, marketing, social media, networking, and so it's not really very easy for someone to just, some random person to just start doing it. Plus you have to understand repair values and after repair values to really price the property correctly and know what you're doing. It's a lot more difficult than they make it sound, but at the same time, the core essence of it is true. You don't necessarily need money. And if you work hard, you can actually make some money doing wholesaling. But again, I just hope that people are being ethical. And I just think if you're getting into this for the wrong reason, you're going to get screwed. So just be careful out there. And those are basically my thoughts on wholesaling. It's not all bad, but 95% of what's going on right now is junk. And don't pay for those stupid classes. Go on biggerpockets.org and talk to real wholesalers who are doing real business and see what they're saying. And you can learn everything from that website. So check it out, guys. That's all I got. Bye-bye.